first game was set in Lost Haven, which is inspired by Chicago. This city is called Empire Bay, and it's inspired by New York. That allows us, obviously, creative freedom to do what we want. That's the bottom line. Is it allows us creative freedom. It allows us to take the bits we like, allows us to do away with the bits we don't like. And a real-world city, like if you create in New York, it would be boring. You'd sit in traffic for 2 hours, and you wouldn't do anything. You wouldn't go anywhere. So it allows us creative freedom to do what we want, you know. And it allows us to take these sort of distinct things.
Marty, what are you doing here?
He's our getaway driver. What do you think?
All right.
So we sent the artists to actually New York and lots of other places in the city, and they actually reference gather massively. Huge research team that goes and references stuff. The whole story is a pretty linear experience, you know, how you're driven through this story. The same way Mafia was. It has a few branches here and there, and we kind of integrate all the additional stuff you get in like sandbox games or crime action games. It's really sort of integrated firmly into the story, you know.
Because we're going to need to get the hell out of here pronto. And you won't need that gun unless somebody follows us, but that shouldn't happen.
Okay, I got you, Joe.
We created this whole story, and then it's divided up into Vito's sort of days in his life, you know. We split the 10 years down the same way a film would do, you know. We don't span 10 years of this guy's life because it would take ages. We moved the story on like 2 months at that point, you know, and then we allude to what happened in that 2 months behind. So you do these time jumps, like film have been doing it for 100 years, you know, and we started to do this in games, and it's a really good way for us to sort of introduce new interesting things and sort of play with the player a little bit more, introduce new cars, vehicles, weapons, all that sort of stuff. The game's obviously got this linear story, and for it to be believable, we had to create this open world city. The same way for BioShock to work, they had to create Rapture, and it had to respond and react to the player. So we didn't set out to create a sandbox game and then make a story to go through it. We made a story, and then we knew we had to have this 10 square miles of city for this story to work. This city has to react to what you do around it, you know. You walk down the street, you do something. I already spoke about people sort of saying, hey Vito, what's going on? Or they'll talk to you in the street. The newspapers will reflect what's going on around. The radio reflects what's being done. You know what I mean? All these things, it sort of like pushes back on what you're doing. We kind of break away from realism a little bit with our driving model, you know. We make it more exciting. Cars skid a lot more and stuff like that. The cars can go a lot faster. Hubcaps will fly off. Tyres can be shot out. Stuff like that.
Okay, got it. Take us up one floor. Payback's a bitch. Shaboom, shaboom. Life is but a dream, sweet. Shaboom-a-dee-dum, ba-doo. Oh, but life is but a dream. Hold on, it's gonna get... Oh my God! Get in! What the hell was that? I don't know.
In the Emperor Arms mission that we just showed you, Vito's like quite well, sort of like, they know his face. Pretty much he's just blown up one of the biggest hotels in Empire Bay. So at that point, his face is well known. In the game, as you become more well known running with the mob, you become a made man, and naturally things start to go well for you. You're not out stealing cars anymore, you know. You've got someone who'll do that for you, you know. You're a made man. You're walking into shops and people are like, hey, Vito, you want something free? You know what I mean? You're going to restaurants, you're not paying for stuff anymore. So as such, also the cops are on the payroll, you know. They don't want to arrest you for a red light. So as naturally, in the early part of the game, when people are like, oh, this is cool, it's just going to naturally go away anyway as you become more renowned and the cops on the payroll, you can actually call people up and sort of call off the cops. So it just works really well, and it's all feeding into this sort of expanding this fiction. We have this great image of, you remember, it's Harry Hill in Goodfellas, where he goes to his wardrobe towards the end of the film, and he's like, I knew I'd made it, and he kind of opens his wardrobe, and he's got like 50 suits in front of him, and you're like, we're totally going to have that, where you're like, right, and Vito Scaletta, what am I wearing today? You know, I'm going to wear some sharp stuff. I'm going to take my guns with me. I'm going to get in my nice car. And you're just like, that's cool. That's about being a gangster, you know? You want that feeling. We want players to have that feeling.
Up there! Go.
Come on, show your face so I can blow it off.